a win. I don't know, by knockout or submission. That's what I'm going to go for, but I expect 5-minute round of war at very high pace.
It is the one we have waited our entire lives for.
Oh, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen of Arkansas and all around the world? Yes, the 5th round. Wow, I haven't said those words on the air or anywhere in months. And oh my goodness, I think I'm back. Well, I might not be on the airwaves regularly, but you know what? Hey, I don't give a... Yeah, I don't give a crap. I am online for now. So I have to give you guys something. I've had a lot of fans and a lot of listeners that listen to the 5th round for quite a long time sit back and they've shot me emails and text messages and stuff for a long time. And people miss it. People miss this show. I miss this show. My former co-host, Nathan Kirby, misses this show. The problem being, the biggest reason why we went off the air was sponsorships, really. But we had some little technical difficulty stuff here and there, but that's all good. You know what? I'm still around. Nathan Kirby's still around. Massive show tomorrow night, Kingdom Promotions 5. I'm going to get to that a little bit later in the broadcast. So, hey, I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know if I got an hour or if I got 2 hours. Hey, I'm going to talk. But I wanted to cover a couple big things going on right now in MMA. First off, I want to get to UFC on Fuel 7. That's tomorrow night. Weigh-ins were a couple hours ago. I watched the weigh-ins. I did stream those live on UFC. They're being taken place over in Europe. So, Renan Barão, 29-1. He is the interim champ. He's facing Michael McDonald, who's 15-1. 18-fight win streak for Renan Barão. He's a first-rate BJJ player and has nasty kicks, knees, striking ability. The guy is he's a well-rounded fighter. Michael McDonald is looking to be the youngest champ in UFC history. So there's a lot of build-up in this fight. McDonald is a BJJ brown belt and has a very good heavy hand. He's known to knock guys out. McDonald will look to keep this fight standing and will try to get another big KO victory. My decision, though, my prediction is going to be Renan Barão, and I think he's going to take it by decision. Next fight on that card I want to talk about is going to be Cub Swanson versus Dustin Poirier. It's a big matchup between two well-rounded fighters. I'm going to give the slight edge to Poirier, though, on this fight. Jimmy Manuwa, 12-0 versus Cyril Diabate, who is 19 wins, 8 losses, 1 no contest. Manuwa is currently unbeaten. I really don't see that changing tomorrow. I'm calling it Manuwa by KO in the first round. Here's one of the fights I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night. Gunnar Nelson. He's 10-0 right now in MMA. He's going against George Santiago, who's 25-10. Young Gunnar is a phenom in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's excellent, one of the top guys in the world. He really needs this fight because of Santiago's experience will definitely push Gunnar to a new level. I will put this fight as a win for Gunnar by submission in the second round. Next fight on the card, James Tahuna, 15-5 versus Ryan Gemma, who's 17-1. I'm ready to watch these two bang. Two awesome and explosive fighters. Jimmo's on a roll, and I see the fight ending very, very fast. Don't blink. Jimmo by TKO. Terry Edom versus Rene Forte. Well, Edom's coming off a big loss to Edson Barbosa. At 155 pounds, Edom's a huge 6'1" with a big reach. But with 2 losses in his last 3 fights, this is a do-or-die time for Edom. Forte is also coming off of a loss at his UFC debut back in October. Here's the facts, kids. The UFC is all about one thing: winning. If you've only had a few fights in the UFC and you've lost a few of them, then you're not worth keeping in the game. Even if you've been a champ, if you get on a skid, your career in the UFC will be in jeopardy. Okay. When it comes to winning and losing in the UFC, we could all see it. You will see fighters here today, gone tomorrow. You start losing, you're gone. It's just the way of the game. There are way too many fighters that are chomping at the bit to get into the UFC that they're not going to continue to waste their time on someone who's sliding down. Okay, next topic. Next thing I want to talk about is going to be Ronda Rousey, Christine Cyborg Santos, the UFC, Tito Ortiz, and weight classes. Okay, here's what we know. Here's the facts. Ronda Rousey is the UFC Women's Bantamweight Bantamweight champion. That's a fact. She will defend that title on Saturday, February 23rd against 7-2 Liz Carmouche. That's a fact. Fans around the world have yelled, kicked, and screamed for Dana White to make the first fight to be a super fight between Ronda and Cyborg. Cyborg was not going to make the weight cut to 135 pounds. She was the champ at 145, always fought at 145, and will stay at 145. Rousey has also fought at 145. She cuts to 135 easily. Not as simple for Cyborg. And don't throw the whole steroids into the mix, because they do. Everybody does. Oh my God, she's a big roider. Look her, she's a man. I'm so sick of it. So tired of that garbage. You know, one time she has one thing, and everybody takes a look at her and says, oh yeah, steroids, yeah. There are women and men on this planet, you would look at them and go, how do you pop? And they did. So, you know, she did her time. Leave her be. Okay? Steroid, that's not why she cannot make the deep cut. Cyborg walks around at over 160 pounds. She's muscular and doesn't have all the water weight or fat to cut 25 pounds. Cyborg has acquired UFC Hall of Famer Tito Ortiz as her manager and has diet professional trainer Mike Dolce. With those two powerhouses in her corner, Cyborg will cut weight without issue. But why? Personally, I think the UFC is going to do this. They're going to build a women's 135-pound division around Ronda Rousey. Then they're going to add a 125-pound division. There are more women to fight at those lower weights. 145 pounds is pretty big for female fighters. After two weight classes are established in the UFC, then and only then will we see a 145-pound division. Until then, I see Cyborg signing a lengthy contract with either Invicta Fighting Championships or Bellator. As far as the Rousey versus Carmouche fight, I predict yet another first-round submission win for the champ. For Cyborg, well, my only big question I have for Chris Cyborg is this. Why, when you are seeking management, would you hire somebody to represent you that had a lot of issues with the UFC when it came to managing, when it comes to contracts? Tito Ortiz was notorious for battling back and forth with Dana White and the Fertittas because of contractual stuff. So why would you get him to represent you to battle over contracts? That part, I don't know. I'm working on some inside sources with some of her sponsors and going to find out more for sure stuff, hopefully in the next week or two, about what's going on with Christine. I'd like to talk to her, like to find out what's going on, and I will definitely get it out to you guys. Okay? Well, hey, I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be back at you with some more awesome stuff. I've got wrestling stuff I want to talk about, Kingdom Promotions tomorrow night, and even a word from Chael Sonnen. Yeah, that's right. I've got a little clip from Chael that I want to share with everybody. But stick around. I've got a little bit more for you on the 5th round right here online. Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu is now bigger and better than ever, offering classes in both gi and no-gi jiu-jitsu, judo, kickboxing, and MMA. All kids and adults welcome. Are you just starting out in martial arts? Or are you a pro fighter looking for a great place to train? Then Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu is the place to be. Come train with multiple champions and be a part of the fastest growing team in Central Arkansas. Give Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu a call today at 501-420-4827 or check it out online at nlrbjj.com. You can also find Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu on Facebook. Family rates available. Why wait? Come learn the most effective martial art in the world with the best instructors around. Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu is at 5200 JFK Boulevard in North Little Rock. Come check it out today. Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu. Are you ready? Kickskin, the premier MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gear company in the world today, is now the official fight gear of me, Craig Anthony, and my show, The Fifth Round. Since 1994, Kickskin has brought to the world the best in Jiu-Jitsu gis, fight short, rash guard, the original #1 rated Valley Tudo glove, men's and women's apparel, and much, much more. Christine Cyborg Santos, Matt Serra, Kendall Grove, and Ben Henderson are all part of the Kickskin family, and you can be too. Call today at 888-KIK-SKIN. That's 888-545-7546. Or go to kickskinmartialarts.com to get the gear that the pros use. Kickskin. Let's get ready to rumble! Be prepared to be tapped out with MMA news right here on KLRG. Hey, we're back. What's going on? Yeah, you just heard that little thing say KLRG, but, well, it ain't going to be on KLRG no more. So I'm going to have to change that. It's okay. Some of you fans are glad to hear that little tidbit, though. I know you are. I know I am. I'm like, man, I missed the show. That's right. So as things progress, you are hearing a new episode right now of The Fifth Round. It might be a light version, a little bit short. It's online, not sitting there blasting across the regular airwaves, but as a good chef would do with food, I guess you'd caress it and finesse it until something awesome comes out of it. Starts off with raw materials, and then it comes out the end something awesome. I'm trying. And you know what? With listener help, do me a favor. Of course, this part of the show is brought to you by Kickskin Martial Arts. That's right, kickskinmartialarts.com for all of your martial arts needs, from jiu-jitsu gis to fight shorts, rash guards, and all that good stuff. Kickskin all day, every day. Check them out online. That's kickskinmartialarts.com. Yes, love Kickskin. I've been using their gear for a year now. Man, I love it. Love it. Go on, check out The Fifth Round on Facebook. Yes, I've got a Facebook page there for The Fifth Round. Like it, love it, share it, please. The further I go along in the show, I will start getting, if I get more likes, I will start giving away stuff. I will get sponsorship stuff to give away online, and we'll figure it all out. But I mean, I want to give away t-shirts, fight shorts, and anything I can get. Okay, moving right along. This week, the IOC committed a travesty when it announced that wrestling would not be a part of the 2020 Olympics. Now, being one of the oldest sports known to man and a staple of the Olympics, one can only wonder what was going on through the heads of the members of the IOC. Wrestling has been replaced by golf? Really? The IOC believes that countries will be more competitive at golf, and they can, than they can be at wrestling. Well, if the numbers are the issue, think about this: the Olympics they have modern pentathlon, a sport that in the last games was represented by only 23 countries from around the world. Wrestling had representatives from 71. So the IOC is giving us a flawed opinion. There's no way that table tennis, rhythmic gymnastics, and synchronized swimming can be called sports that are of greater value to the Olympics. Personally, as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu player, an MMA fighter, and a huge fan of the grappling life, I shall now boycott the Olympics altogether in 2020 if the final vote comes down to get rid of wrestling. Everybody, you need to get online and get involved. There are petition sites going up right now that will help you get your voice out there and let your voice be heard. Let the IOC know that wrestling needs to stay. There's no way possible that you can get rid of wrestling. It's that boggles the mind. I believe it is the oldest sport in the Olympics. So, yeah, got to keep it. Look, all of us big fans out there, these MMA fans around the world, look at MMA today. Without wrestling, MMA fighters wouldn't be the fighters they are today. Wrestling is a staple of mixed martial arts training. Some of your best fighters in the world have been phenomenal wrestlers. George St. Pierre being a huge example of that. Well, I'm going to attack what's the next thing? Kingdom Promotions 5. That's right. Tomorrow night, right here, Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah, Metroplex Event Center, Little Rock, Arkansas. That is right. It is Valentine's Massacre, Kingdom Promotions 5. Oh, I've been waiting for months for this show. As everybody knows, Mr. Nathan Curry is the promoter, matchmaker, and guru of this show. And he has done yet another phenomenal job at lining up some awesome fighters. Huge list of fighters. Now, there have been some events take place here in Arkansas. Some little rules are getting a little bit more strict when it comes to weigh-ins. Amateurs now only have a 2-pound variance instead of a 3, which is good. You're starting to crunch down a little bit. Tonight at the West End in Little Rock, in West Little Rock, is going to be the weigh-ins starting at 6:30. So if you want to get down there, meet the fighters, say hi to the guys. Everybody will be weighing in starting at 6:30 tonight. I would love to be down there. I just don't have an opportunity. Some of my coaches are going to be there. One of my fighters from my gym is going to be there. That Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu, Donald Harrison will be fighting Lonnie Robertson tomorrow night. So those guys are going to be down there. We've got some other phenomenal fights. We got a couple of new guys coming on. I want everybody to check out Evan Mortar versus Damian Redmond. That's going to be a great fight. Evan Mortar going to be one of the few guys representing Gracie Jiu-Jitsu of Cabot. So we have guys on this card representing members of almost every gym around Little Rock, and it's really awesome. We've got guys from Westside MMA. We've got guys from Rock City MMA, Barada MMA up in Cabot, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu of Cabot, Nemesis Jiu-Jitsu. Man, we've just got guys from everywhere. Unity Martial Arts. Just so many phenomenal guys out there training their butts off, getting ready to fight. I'm waiting to see Andrew Lord versus Manny Ramirez. It's going to be a knockdown fight. It's going to be awesome. John Chitwood versus DeJuan Pickney, 145-pound title fight. Wow, that one's going to be one of those fights. John Chitwood and DeJuan Pickney, two guys that you really don't want to blink. Don't turn your back and talk to your buddy. Don't sip your beer because of the fact that one of those dudes might get knocked out just like that. Next fight I want to talk about, 170-pound title fight. Josh Hudson, PJ Bonner. Now, if anybody had noticed at the last Kingdom Promotions fight, Kingdom Promotions 4, PJ Bonner came out and had one of the nastiest knockouts I've ever seen. It was huge. PJ Bonner is an athletic freak, and I am so stoked to watch this guy fight tomorrow night. It's going to be off the charts. Dusty Twinkle Toes Mason coming back, pro fight versus Wade Johnson. Dusty Twinkle Toes Mason has had multiple fast submissions. We're talking flying arm bars, flying triangles within the first 30 seconds of a fight. It's happened multiple times, and he's making his comeback. Watch out for Dusty Mason. The guy is phenomenally talented, and it's going to be a great fight. Headline fight for the night. You're going to want to see, headline fight's going to be Dave Burrow versus Thomas the Young Lion Gifford. That one's going to be a down and dirty, throw down, drag out, through the mud, kicking someone's teeth. Great fight. I'm going to sit there looking at the two. Thomas Gifford's good and young. He's strong. He's fast. He's a good striker. Got a decent ground game. Going against Dave Burrow. Burrow, I think, has more. I'm going to have to give the slight advantage to Burrow. I think he's going to throw a heavier hand. He's going to have a stronger ground game. So we got other great fights on the card. That it's going to be huge. Brandon Mittermeier versus LaMarcus Tucker. Going to be a great fight. Tim Hughes versus Drew Foote. Man, I could go through this list of all these young, up-and-coming fighters and get out there. If any of you fans want to do something great for mixed martial arts, what you can do is, instead of spending that $65 on the pay-per-view for the UFC, save that $65 and go get yourself a couple tickets to a local MMA event. If you're here, if you're at Legacy Fights in Texas, if you're at V3 Fights, if you're at some show fights, I don't care if you are in New York City. Well, you can't go see MMA in New York City. It's still outlawed. If you are in Portland, Oregon, all the way down to Florida, from California to West Virginia, get out there and watch local fights. You want to see where all the UFC pros come from? They start out locally. I mean, you got to go and you got to support them. Kingdom Promotions 5 is going to be a massive show. It's going to be sold out. Tickets are only $25. Check out kingdompromotionsmma.com. And very few tickets left. Literally, very few. I'm talking less than 20. Get out there, get your ticket, get to the show. You are going to be blown away tomorrow night. Okay, I said I had Chael Sonnen. I have a clip by Chael Sonnen. This was actually from The Ultimate Fighter. If you've been keeping up on The Ultimate Fighter this year so far, it's been really good. Chael Sonnen is up 2-1 over Coach John Jones. The last fight was won by John Jones' team, and they have made the next fight. But something was said in an episode that is just, it says something about Chael Sonnen's personality, but it also tells us not only something about being a fighter, but about life. So I want you to hear this and just soak it in for a second.
You got to compete with it. When doubt seeps in, you got two roads. You can take either road. You can go to the left or you can go to the right. And believe me, they'll tell you failure is not an option. That is ridiculous. Failure is always an option. Failure is the most readily available option at all times, but it's a choice. You can choose to fail, you can choose to succeed. And if we can plant seeds and let him know, move your feet, keep your hands up, stay off the bottom, that is the road to victory. Or self-doubt and negative talk, and that is the road to failure. But failure is always there, and it's okay to recognize that.
And if I can leave you with anything today in my own journey through this, it's, one, it's okay. And two, it's normal. And as athletes, and especially as men, as male athletes, we hate to admit weakness, even to ourselves. And when you're dealing with something, you get some kind of a hiccup, first thing, acknowledge it, like you just did.
I find it so meaningful as a coach to inspire others to reach deep inside of yourself and find out who you really are. And realize that, yes, failure is an option, but do you choose to fail? If you give it everything you've got, if you know that you're preparing yourself for either I don't care if it's a jiu-jitsu tournament, an MMA fight, a Thai kickboxing match, or if you're looking to run a marathon, if you have dedicated your heart and your soul your body and your mind into success, into I will put in every bit of effort that I possibly can with every fiber of my being to work hard, work smart, to listen to my coaches and do as I am asked to do, then at the end of the day, if you don't come out as the victor in your battle, do not look at yourself as you have failed. Too many fights are won and lost already in the gym. We've seen it time and time again where people come in and they set their mind on something, but it's a weakened mind. They want to walk into a jiu-jitsu gym and the first thing in their mind is, you just put on your brand new crisp, brand new white belt. You know, it still stinks from the packaging you just pulled it out of. And the first thing out of your mind is, this will be black one day. I will have a black belt one day. Well, you know what? If you focus and you work and you sacrifice, you are dedicated, motivated, and can seriously do something like that, then you can be victorious. You can reach your goals. But don't let things, people, time, work, or anything stand in your way. In order to become a champion, you have to sacrifice like one. If you want to sit there and you want to be a fighter, then you have to sacrifice like one. You have to get in that gym. You have to be the first one there and the last one to leave. You have to pour your sweat, your heart, and your soul and your blood on that mat. You have to dig so deep that when the coach tells you to stop, you give him another 10%. You got to leave everything in there. But don't think that failure is not an option. It is an option, but it's an option that you choose. Well, I hope to see everybody tomorrow night at the fights. Hope you enjoyed this little episode of the 5th round. I know it wasn't huge, but it was a little tidbit for you. I hope I can continue to do it, and I hope I can add on to it over the next couple of months and just continue to build the show, build the podcast, maybe even just join up with some other guys. Never know. I hope to see you next time right here on the 5th round.